I refuse to believe I feel like I spoiled something for you.
You did.
That I already said.
I don't know. A girl can dream. A girl can have hope.
Girl, apparently not.
No,
Yeah.
I'd leave it up to Maddie, the shitter of all hopes and dreams. So yeah, awesome.
Glad I could be there for you.
I love that.
Hey, besties.
Hey.
Welcome back for another episode of the Hello Bestie podcast. I'm Maggie.
I'm Tashima.
All right, we're going to get into our book this week. This is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. And a little synopsis on the back. On September 5th, a little after midnight, Deathcast calls Mateo Torres and Rufus Immaterial to deliver some bad news. They're going to die in less than 24 hours. Mateo and Rufus are total strangers, but for different reasons, they're both looking to make a new friend on their end day. The good news is there's an app for that. It's called Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Mateo meet up for one final epic adventure to live a lifetime in a single day. So this book was rated a 3.8 on Goodreads. I'm going to read one 5-star review. So it says, "Don't let the title fool you. This isn't a book about death, but about life. It's about becoming the person you want to be without fear holding you back. It makes you face your own mortality head on and ask the question, if you knew today was your last day, would you be happy with the life you lived? This is truly a book you come out of a different person than you went in." Another person said, gave a 2-star review. They said, "Yeah, this was boring. And Mateo was annoying," all caps. That's pretty much all I have to say, LOL. Another person gave 1 star, said, "Oh my God, they died." And someone replied to that, "I hope they stay dead." So, yeah. So,
Interesting.
3.8 average on Goodreads. Tima, how would you rate this book on a scale of 1 to 5 stars?
I would rate this book probably about a 3.5.
Okay.
3.8-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere around that range.
Okay, that's fair. That's
How
fair.
about you?
I would give it a 4. This book really, I don't think the writing was the best in terms of just, the writing wasn't the best. I feel like to give a book a 5, it has to have all of that. But for how it made me feel and how it made me think and just really care about these characters, and I didn't want them to die at the end. The title is a total spoiler, but the whole time I was really hoping something would happen and it wouldn't work out that way. Maybe he's talking more of like a spiritual death than a physical death, or but yeah, I give it a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you and I have talked before that if you had the option, if you wouldn't want to know, if you could know what day would be your last day, that you wouldn't want to know. So I'm not going to ask that because we've already kind of discussed that. But if you got a call from Deathcast, what would you do on your last day?
Oh my gosh. I would probably spend time with my family.
Even if you knew that they could be harmed by being with you, because you don't know how you're going to die. And even if they don't get the call, there's no guarantee, you pretty much know they're going to be fine, but that doesn't make them,
I mean, I would probably do something, I think it was Rufus who threw himself a funeral.
Yeah.
Like, I would probably do something like that, like a final hurrah, and then, go and explore. And I don't know, like, I feel like Rufus's journey with Instagram and all of that stuff, like, that seemed like the perfect way to document that. So probably something along those lines.
I think Rufus, his whole backstory was just very, very sad because he had a firsthand account with Deathcast, and when they talked about his parents getting the call and then finding out that his little sister, was going to happen to her too, and their parents arguing with them on the phone. Yeah, I ask you, like, would you want to spend it with I would want to spend it with my family too, but I would want to do that, but I think I would say, let's not. Maybe we see each other one last time, do our goodbyes, kind of like you just mentioned, like a final hurrah. You guys can come and celebrate me and then go away, because I don't know how this is going to happen to me, and I really don't want anybody else getting hurt throughout all of that. So having said that, another question I had was, would you tell people? Because Mateo, when he was going to go visit his best friend Lydia, he already gotten the call. He wasn't going to tell her.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I get why he did what he did because of what happened with her fiance or whatever. But I'm a big advocate of allowing other people to have closure when it comes to stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to rob any of my loved ones the opportunity of being able to say the things that they wanted to say.
I agree.
So I would definitely, as painful as it would be, I would definitely say that.
I would too. That was well said, because you would hate to die and then have a family member live with, I wish I would have told him or her that. And
the last thing I said was, you know, can you bring me some eggs or something? You know, something really insignificant. So,
what did you think about the whole concept of the book about Deathcast and, you know, here's some coupons to go to these different things, and hey, the diner is having half off,
10% off
in days. Yeah.
I think the concept was interesting. I don't like it. Like, I wouldn't want to live in a world like that.
Right.
I think it's super unfair, and I guess part of me is interested in like the conspiracy theory of the why. Like, it was kind of giving not Hunger Games, but like the elimination, like population control. And I didn't like that, you know, just a random computer generating who supposedly who gets to live and who dies. And regardless of age, status. I mean, it seemed fair in that way, you know, like it doesn't matter really your like economic status, socioeconomic status. When your number's called, your number's called. But I didn't like it.
I think I would have liked more background, and I understand why he didn't, obviously, on how it came about, how they know, because
I have to believe that it's going to come in like future books.
I would think so.
Because there's other books, so because they did mention like a little snippet of it. So I guess not having read those other books, I wonder if that's something that is going to be brought up later.
It kind of put me in the mind of, gosh, what are those movies called? The where people get one day to kill whoever they want, and the government set this up.
The Purge.
The Purge. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Initially, I was thinking, did the government set up Deathcast, and how could they even set up such a thing? But then it mentioned that the former president got the call and basically tried to hide in a bunker and then was killed by one of the Secret Service. You know, Deathcast is 100% correct all the time. I felt so bad initially for Mateo, the call that he got, where the chick was like, oh, Timothy. He's kind of like, whoo. She's like, oh, my bad. That was the other guy. He did not take the news well. Are you Mateo Torres? And then
sorry, it's been a really crazy day.
And then at the end, she's called him Timothy again. I thought it was realistic in that people will always try to take advantage, and no matter what job you have, we've talked about before, some professions you should just be more caring naturally, but then some it's just a job to you. Like her, she's just trying to meet her quota and just trying to make as many calls as she can. Essentially like you would do in like a call center type of thing. Like no emotion, no today's your last day, go on this website to make your final arrangements. Here's the weather forecast for the day. I felt like Rufus's call was more personable, but then
felt a little more realistic too. Not a little more, but like it gave you two different versions of how that could go.
Yeah, I like that. But Rufus also told him, "Can you just be a human?" And I like how I didn't like how the caller, but you know, Victor, I think was his name. Like, you want me to be more realistic? Okay, well, how about I just had to call a mother and tell her her 4-year-old daughter's going to die today, and have her beg me, how is this going to happen? How can I stop it? Then I had to call child services because it's very likely she may be the one to hurt her daughter. So, but unfortunately, I have a lot more calls like this. I have to make heralds, I think they call them. So do you think you could be a herald, like in that world, in that situation, be someone who made that call to people?
I feel like I could, because I would take the compassionate component extremely serious. Knowing that, you know, like I would want to be the person who could be like give you this news in the most peaceful way possible, and hopefully prevent you from getting somebody like the other one.
Yeah.
Who's like, sorry, I'm trying to meet a quota.
Right.
Even though I'm currently under investigation for being able to make so many calls.
Right.
The only way that I could see myself doing that, though, is if it made me exempt from Deathcast. Because if I had to work in that environment all day, and then I'm still gonna get a call, no thank you. That just seems for a very draining and miserable life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I could... Okay. I would be good at it, but I would be very inefficient at my job. Because I would be the one that has a hard time hanging up on people. If someone's crying and they just want, like...
Yeah, like 3 calls a day.
Yeah. I would be very...
Just on the phone with them all day
this
long.
is not the call for you. You need to be the person at the hospital holding their hand for those people. So, yeah, I just... And the one chick who Mateo met online, and she's like, oh, you dead guys are always so... I'm like, there's a hustle for everything. There are going to be groups where people like, yo, you want to get one last little whatever, come holler
break
at me.
in your house because they know that you're about to be...
You want to get rid of your furniture, like, I can take care of it. I thought that was ridiculous, but also very realistic, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Very realistic, too. What did you think of the romantic storyline between Mateo and Rufus? I didn't see that coming. I didn't know that was going to be a thing.
I feel like I saw it coming in the build-up, you know, like the little comments that were being made, and the more in tune they were starting to become with each other, and like things about each other, you know, like noticing speckles in the eyes, or like I felt that it was coming. So
I meant like going into the book, like reading the synopsis of the book. I just thought like, oh, 2 boys like meeting friends. I didn't know that it was like gonna be that, you know. Yeah. Like a romantic relationship between them. But yeah, as soon as it said they saw each other's profile and Rufus has said that he was bi, I was like, well, why would you mention that if it wasn't gonna...
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely like served up on a platter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Neutral, I guess. I understand why it needed to be there, you know, in terms of like the ending. But, I don't know.
I felt really bad about Mateo's dad.
Yeah, that was really devastating. That part in the hospital, like at the end, was really heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So most of the story is told from Mateo's and Rufus's point of view, but they every so often would have these randoms. Did you think that made sense? Did you appreciate that the author doing that, or were you kind of like, what is this about?
When it first started happening, because it didn't happen in the very beginning, I was like, what? Got another... But it was so far into the story that I didn't understand just this boop. Another person didn't get a call from Deathcast today, but da-da-da-da-da. I was like, I know we're not about to introduce another person.
Right.
But then, obviously, towards the end, you kind of understand how... It was kind of like the movie... Is it Traffic? Or Crash, like where there's all these different storylines, but they all kind of end up overlapping with each other.
I think it's called Crash, but I've never seen it. Okay.
All these things where these people are all kind of like overlapping each other, but they don't even really realize that they're all interconnected.
Right.
It gave me that.
Okay.
So like it made sense, especially when you have like the explosion and like, which I didn't really care for that part. Yeah. But I was like, what? Yeah. Like we're just an explosion. We just get up and walk away.
That was random, right?
But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So the author said that he was very similar to Mateo.
Okay.
The book is actually really cool. Towards the end, he shows his actual notes that he wrote while he was writing the book and things that he wanted to happen and different timelines and stuff like that. But I really respected Mateo just being like, you know what, I'm just going to try to do this. Yeah, I'm going to go do karaoke. I'm going to sing this song. It's just a shame that it takes that for you to, because he just was holed up in his room all the time reading all this stuff. And he read a lot of stuff surrounding what do they call them? Deckers. People
Yeah.
on deck.
And it actually was very useful.
Right, absolutely. I thought the whole make a moment, I think that's what it was called, make a moment, was
When they're like
interesting.
indoor skydiving and stuff like that.
Yeah, where they can do all
Yeah.
that stuff, and then also the travel around the world.
Hmm.
I thought that was a pretty interesting concept of, hey, if you know you're gonna die, this is a, because most people wouldn't want to get on a plane because they're gonna worry about, well, I'm probably gonna die in a plane crash. Like, even
Right.
though you know it's coming, I'm still gonna try to be careful. Like, they didn't want to get on any elevators, and they were very careful going up and down stairs. And I think that in itself has to be very scary, even if you know today is
Yeah.
gonna be the day, you still don't know how it's gonna happen.
You don't want it to be horrific.
Right. And there's gonna be a part of you that still wants to try to prevent
Hmm.
it from happening.
Yeah.
I know this is gonna happen, but let it not be this way.
Right. Let it be at like the last hour of the day too.
Yeah. What did you think about the fight in the club? For me, that's when I thought that it was going to happen. It
Mm.
seemed like it made sense, especially for Rufus. It felt like, okay, you started the book beating up this guy.
Mhm.
Now it was like a very Carlito's Way type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, he
Full
came back.
circle.
Yeah.
I thought that it was gonna be a wrap. I thought it was actually gonna be like Mateo.
Me too.
The way he's like rushing out in what felt like slow motion. But the whole club scene before all of that, I thought was so beautiful.
Me
Like the
too.
karaoke and them just dancing and having fun. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, it just felt like what a time to be alive.
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah, I was like, and then when it didn't happen, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Same.
off we go.
Right.
Okay.
I thought it was funny when it said Mateo punched the guy. He's like, he didn't knock him down or anything like that. But now we
Yeah.
got a chance.
Yeah, you could just see like a skinny, lanky little arm just like, doop, and just,
Him just being kind of like, what the hell was
yeah,
that?
what was that?
I felt really bad for him and his friend Lydia when he wrote the like Mateo and Lydia were here as always or something like
Yeah.
that. And then when Rufus, yeah, that book really touched me, especially how it happened, and it just because they were supposed to go see his dad, right? And then they ended up being in the room, and then he sang him the Elton John song, and that your song is one of my favorite Elton John songs, so I could hear it as he's singing it, and
Yeah.
yeah, then they take a nap and he gets up, and as soon as it said that he was going to make some tea, I was like, no, because he had written to the neighbor after he got the call to tell his neighbor, don't worry about fixing the stove, which I thought was weird because he thought that his dad was going to come home anyway. Excuse me. So it felt like, why wouldn't you still want to get the stove fixed if you know that your dad is going to be, even if you aren't going to be here, you're expecting your dad to come, but his dad was comatose and maybe I don't know, but
Kind of like, don't rush.
yeah.
I don't know. But I was so kind of wrapped up into it that when it happened, he was like, as soon as he clicked on the stove, I'm like, what? And then it talks about the explosion and all that. And I was just like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It is broken.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was crazy. I think the last line of that was something along like, even when you know death is coming, it still comes in a blaze or it comes by surprise or something like that. So, yeah, Rufus waking up and then that whole scene, that did piss me off because he made a comment like, yeah, all these people yelling outside the apartment, but they wouldn't go in and try to help two kids or whatever.
Yeah.
And he swung on one of them, like, if I can just hit one of y'all so you know to just leave us the hell alone. And the ambulance, when they open up the doors and he's like, they didn't put him in the back, they pulled out a body bag, and he's like, oh, no, 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 no. So that just,
Yeah.
yeah, I was.
He's like, no, he didn't get the call. He didn't get the call. I was like, ooh. You know, how differently they treat people.
Right.
Based on, if you've gotten the call or not.
Yeah.
I felt like it sucks.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to do anything to help you.
Right.
Which I think just makes the whole situation just so much more painful.
It does. That was an impactful line. Like, he didn't get the call because
Yeah.
well, we aren't going to try. Them going to the graveyard, no, we're like going back, but them going to the graveyard and the Mateo seeing them digging his grave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's some crazy stuff to see.
Yeah, I don't even know how I could take that.
That's some crazy stuff to see. And they both had experienced loss. Mateo's mother had passed away, and then Rufus lost his whole family. I like the click of the Plutos though. I'm glad that he had that because it's just you were in this car accident too, but you didn't get the death cast call, so your whole family died. They all got the call. How do you go on for something like that? And there was something else said where someone pronounced his last name. That was kind of like an ongoing thing in the book. People were mispronounce his last name incorrectly. And towards the end, he's like, it doesn't make sense to correct. Like, there's going to be nobody else after me to carry on this name. So what does it matter if they say it wrong or not? It's
Right.
like, damn. I was kind of hoping that nothing happened to Rufus because the last line was basically like, he puts on his headphones, he's watching the video, and I cross the street, but there's not an arm to hold me back. And I was kind of like, so
But that's
is
where
he
it
okay?
ends.
But that he got hit by a car.
Says who?
That's what it implied.
It implied.
Well,
It
the
didn't
author ended up.
say.
I went down the rabbit hole because I was just still hoping
Okay.
something happened.
Well,
But
all
yeah,
of us didn't go down the rabbit hole, Maggie.
yeah,
Some of us are thinking that maybe he's gonna pop up in the next book.
yeah. No, the author killed that. To the author, it was very clear. This is what that means. I told y'all they both died at the end. I lived up to that and I made it happen at the end. For me,
Great.
I would have appreciated, I'm sorry I ruined your hope, but yeah. I would have appreciated one last line of, I didn't see the car coming, or all I saw was headlights, or, because to me, that would have solidified, like, oh my gosh, instead of being like, but did he survive? Google, oh, damn. But then listening to other reviews, other people were like, yeah, it was obvious because Mateo pulled him out of the way the last time because he almost got hit by a car earlier. Specifically said there wasn't an arm to hold him back, so this time he got hit. And I was like, well, maybe I was just being too hopeful because I kind of let it to.
Hope is nice.
Sorry, I dashed that for you, even though, spoiler.
Yeah.
They did both die at the end, as the title implied.
Well, that's enough of that then.
I refuse to believe I feel like I spoiled something for you.
You did.
That I already said.
I don't know. A girl can dream. A girl can have hope.
Girl, apparently not.
No,
Yeah.
not leave it up to Maggie, the shitter of all hopes and dreams. So yeah, awesome.
Glad I could be there for you.
I love that.
All right, besties. On that somber note.
Yeah. All right, besties. So we will see you in the next episode. We are going to review Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell.
Yep.
All right, besties. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.